Hi everyone, it's Danya here. Today's the 15th of the month and it's time for the unveiling of the January 2022 card kit. This video would probably be late since I've been struggling with, I don't know, being sick. But anyway, let's look and see what the goodies are. First we get, as always, the storage envelope, mailing envelopes for A2 size cards, and then we have the paper palette. Here, let me see if I can list off the, you know what, I wonder if there is an idea card. Here's the idea card, so you can see, and it'll help me since I don't remember, or I can't tell sometimes the colors. So we have Cloud, Razzleberry, which is such a pretty color. I bet you this is apple green, and it is. Pixie. And this should be candy. No, it's bubble gum. Well, the card says bubblegum, but I'm pretty sure this is candy. And then we have ocean, licorice, pool, and your sheets of powdered sugar. You get 4 of those. Okay, so let's move this aside. And you get some ribbon. Oh, razzleberry ribbon. And then the other ribbon is black. And we get some black stars. Those are really pretty. They're puffy stickers. And sentiment squares. I'm wondering if these will fit on the scallops. I'm going to try that. Let's see if I can make a card by putting the scallop back onto one of these. I bet you that'll look really cute. And more puffy stickers. All the little typewriters. Oh, that's too cute. And then you get some sentiments also as well. Some gems in a razzleberry color. And oh, a freebie. Can't show you that. Don't want to ruin the surprise for anyone. You get the See You Soon word die. And an A1. Oh, this is a cute one. An A1 card base. It's the little one, which is my favorite one. The center step up. That's cute. Okay. And then finally we get the paper pad. So let's see what the colors are. Or the papers, I'm sorry. We know what the colors are already. We got the little typewriters. The typewriter keys, and on the back you get the letters. And then this, oh, you can cut these out with your circle dies. And then the typewriter. See You Soon, polka dots, small typewriters, small dots, See You Soon, small, black squiggly. I'm glad that the black was introduced. Look how pretty this paper is with the black stripes in there. Polka dots, and we start all over again. Okay, so that is the card kit. So I'm going to go cut some paper out, and let's start off on some cards. Okay, for card number 1, I decided to try a sketch, and this one is from Paper Player, sketch number 279. I went and cut the, I cut out the typewriter from the paper pad, and I stamped from this month's set just a note to say, and then I also cut all the little circles that were on that paper. And this one I backed up with this It's this little flower. It's called large flower dies. I like the scallops on it. And you can still see some of the little edges of the holes, but it doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to, I mounted it on that. Okay, for the sketch, I decided to do a top folding card for this. And the reason why is because I want to put the ribbon across the top. Because this typewriter is pretty big. So when I mount it on here the way I want it according to the sketch, I'm not going to have much room over here for a ribbon, and I really want to use some ribbon. I cut out the pattern paper, and this paper is 4 by 5 1/4. And the mat is just slightly larger. So it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that gives you like a nice little black edge around the pattern paper. And the glue from the pad is on here. I gotta take that off. Okay, the strip that goes down the side here is 2 inches. So this is 2 by 5 1/4. And then the little strip that's on the bottom is 1 3 1/2. So I just cut the little strip out on my paper trimmer and then just snipped it to look like a banner. Instead of the circle that's on here and the sentiment strip, I'm going to use the typewriter and the thank you. Okay, so let me assemble the card. And that is the completed card. I added some stars and the ribbon on top. And again, this was Sketch Challenge 279 by the Paper Players. Okay, let's move on to card number 2. Okay, for card number 2, I'm going to use the A1 Center Step Up card die that came with the card kit. And I'm going to also use these square sentiments, which are going to fit perfectly right in the front of that. And then I pulled out the square scallop dies, and it looks like it's going to work. It's going to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all the pieces out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I cut out this is the black scallop. There's a piece of paper back here. Black scallop, and I put the sentiment sticker on there, and it fits perfect. Isn't that pretty? And then I mounted it with a foam backing, so that way it pops up a little bit. I cut the card base out, one of the layerings, and then the side layerings. Now, I also cut out the flowers that are included with this card base, and I cut them all out in white, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink each of these pieces up and then assemble the flowers. And I do this very easily. All I do is I just use the ink. So I got the candy ink and the green apple, and I'm just going to go through here. Just take the sponge dauber, and I'm going to hit these up until they're colored all the way through. Okay? Okay, all the flowers are assembled, colored and assembled, and I added a one of the gems in the center that came with the card kit. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to start assembling the card. Okay, and that's the finished card, nice and simple, except that I fumbled a lot with the glue. It's really cold here today, and every time it gets cold, I find that my glue doesn't work that well. Anyway, so there it is. Isn't it cute? Those little flowers are just darling. Okay, off to card number 3. All right, for card number 3, I want to use the little circles that came with the paper pad, and I thought it'll be cute to line these up, something like that. And if you cut them right to the color, right to the line, they fit perfectly on the triple flip it. So you just kind of have to work it in there, and then you can see that the circle fits perfectly in there. Okay, so I cut the card base out using the hidden panel technique. And this is going to be a very, very simple card. So I'm just going to go jump right in and assemble it. And that is the finished card. It was real easy. It's the easiest card ever. So, and I gave myself a little panel in there so I could write a note to the recipient. Okay, so we'll just move on to card number 4. Okay, for card number 4, I got inspired by the panel in the triple flip it. The layering for the pattern paper, the layering panel. It's got a corner here and it's got a rounded corner here. And I wanted to use this die on a card, but it's too long. But I like the concept of it. I saw a card similar online and I wanted it to recreate it. There wasn't a sketch for it, so I made a sketch. So I'll give you the dimensions as I go. What I did is I cut out of pattern paper, and I'll give you the dimensions, 2 by 5/8 by 4. So this is 2 5/8 by 4. Then I took a corner rounder and I just rounded 2 of the corners. So that gave me that. Then I did the same thing on a black piece of cardstock, except 1/8 bigger or larger on top and side. So this size is 4 1/8 right here. 4 1/8 by, this should be 2 3/4. 2 3/4. So now I have the layout like that. So let me glue these 2 pieces together. There you go. Now I did do a rough sketch of this, what I'm doing here, but this is a chicken scratch. You probably don't understand it. So again, the pattern paper is 2 5/8 by 4. 2 5/8 by 4, round the corners. The matte piece in the back is 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. 2 3/4, 4 1/8, round the corners, and layer them together. Okay, now for this is an A2 size card, by the way, and it's going to be top folding, and the only reason why it's top folding is because it's the other half of the first card I made, just to save the paper. I just used the other half of that from the card number 1. Now, I'm going to layer these 2 pieces together. The black is 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. The pattern is 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. And let me just double check that. Yes. So now when I put this on top of this, it's just going to give me 1/8 of a border all the way around. Okay, so let me put these 2 together. I should have tried to do the sketch, and I don't know if I have the software to be able to do it. Where you could actually, it's legible. Okay, so now, and like I said, this is a card I saw online, but there was no links or anything to any of the products, so I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, so what I want to do is I want to put this on top of this. So let me go ahead and do that. Like so. Okay, now there's going to be a tab. There's going to be a tag that's going to come across. Now, for the pattern paper, I cut it out 3 7/8 by 1 3/8. Again, that's 3 7/8 by 1 3/8. And then I just cut out the banner. I'm also going to put black paper behind this. The black paper is 4 by 1.5. 4 by 1.5. So I'm going to just go ahead and layer that because I'm going to put that right across here like this. Okay, so let me layer that. And this card is for those out there that do not have card bases. I understand that not everyone can afford all the card bases that are out there. And you know, sometimes just a good paper trimmer is all you need if you're willing to sit there and just figure out the math. So this card did take me a little bit longer. Now, what I didn't account for is that this is not going to lay right, and it's going to drive me nuts. So I'm just going to put a strip, at least on this side. I'm going to put a small strip of cardstock. Hold on, let me go get some cardstock. Okay, all I did, it's easier to stop the video and come back and try to edit everything out. All I did was go back and add a couple of pieces of cardstock. And that'll give it to me so it's nice and flush and I don't get this. I left this okay on the other side. That's fine. I just didn't want it on this side. And again, this is something you don't have to do. It just bothers me. So I'm going to mount that even with that. Okay, so I just did it even with the colors. All right. All right. Now, so that's it for all the measurements. Now, I cut out the see you soon, and I layered it. I cut it out 3 times. Each letter comes out individually. And I layered them 3 times to give it height. Now, unfortunately, because I always mount on vellum, I'm not going to be able to, it's not going to be flush, but I'm going to have to live with it. And I added some Google eyes on the soon because I thought that was cute. So now with vellum, I always try to hide, as always, the glue, and I don't need to glue everything because it just has the part that's going to be on the pink. Okay. Let me get a block so that will dry. Oh, excuse me. Hopefully I don't start going into a coughing attack. This video is taking forever for me to finish because I go into these coughing attacks. Okay. I want to put gems here, 3 gems on the side, and like always, I like to glue them down because they never seem to stay stuck for me. Oh, excuse me. I don't want to catch my coughing on video. Okay. So if I post this late, you'll know why. Oh, come on, stick. I really am having a difficult time with my glue. I usually don't. And so I have to attribute to it being cold out. Actually, these gems have a good stick to them. Usually they don't. Okay. Let's do a little bit more here. It's still looking a little bit bland. So I cut out I cut out some of the branches from the A2 card. And I'm just going to glue them around. Come on, glue. I'm just going to stick them here and there to make it look kind of cute. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Well, all I could say is good thing this isn't a live. I'd be coughing up a storm. I have to keep shutting the camera off. Okay, so what I did was I added 3 little branches here and 2 down in the corner. And then I had a little piece of ribbon that was left over from one of the cards I made previously. It was just a little sliver, but it was just enough to give me a little knot. So not to let it go to waste, I just put a glue dot on there, and I'm going to mount it right there on top of these little leaves. Like so. And then take the whole card front and adhere it to the card base. And for the size card is an A2. And there we have the completed card. I think it came out really cute. Okay, and no need to go out and buy anything, just a paper trimmer. Sometimes it's just nice to just not have to have extra accessories. Anyway, I'm going to put my chicken scratch here. I'm going to put it up close. If you want to stop the camera and take the dimensions, I know chicken scratch, but I think you can figure it out. Okay, if you have any questions, just ask. Those are the comments I try to get back to as soon as I can. Okay, so now into the last and final card. Okay, so for the last card, I'm going to play with the 5x7 dies. Now these dies are the ones that came with the gatefold card. But I'm not going to make a gatefold card. I'm just going to use these 2 dies to create just a regular 5x7 card. Now, the problem with the 5x7 is that the paper pad isn't big enough if you want to use pattern paper. Okay, so even though the Stamps of Life pattern paper is 6 by 6 and, do I want to say 6 3/4? I think it's 6 3/4 or 6 1/2, closer to 6 1/2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, because this has got a stitch, I'm going to cut half and then the other half, and it's going to be separated. I hope that this is going to work. I shouldn't be playing with pattern paper. I should have done it on scrap paper first, but I'm not going to. I also have this sheet left from the other card I made, and I'm going to use this to cut. And this is the strip that I'm going to use to try to hide the break between the pattern paper. So I'm going to be piecing it so it appears that it's one long sheet in the back, but it's not going to be. All right, so that's where I'm going, and hopefully that works out. If it doesn't, I'll use regular cardstock. I cut out the other typewriter, and I was going to stamp something, but I was looking at the idea card, and in the idea card, they used the puffy stickers on the typewriter. And I was like, I want to do that. So I'm going to steal that idea, and I'm going to just put the hello in there. And instead of using the gems, I'm going to use some of the little black stars. And we'll see where this goes. Okay, so let me go cut the paper and see if I can finagle it. Okay, so I cut the pieces out. And now what I want to do is, this is going to be the front of the card base. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that I get this the right distance apart. And you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to just lay these pieces into the corners of the dies, and now I have my spacing here. And I'm just going to get some double-sided adhesive tape. I'm just going to tear it here and very gently, I don't want it to stick to the paper on the bottom. I'm going to put down 3 strips. Like that. make sure that's all level. But I'm very careful. I'm just going to flip it over. And now I have the perfect mat for my 5x7 card. Now, so I cut this strip from the other die, the longer die, and I want to mount it. But I did cut out, I don't know yet if I want to use, I just cut out like I usually do, another 1/8 of an inch just to break up the pattern papers. And I'm going to do that. So let me glue this down. Right there. Like so. And I'm going to put it on just like that. Okay. So I'm going to glue this on, and this is what's going to hold 2 pieces together, pretty much. Make sure that I glued enough, yeah. Take that, and I want the angle to be right about there. Flip this over. Make sure it's all covered up. Now I could put this down. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so now I'm just going to go and I'm going to trim on my paper trimmer. I'm just going to trim that when the glue dries. Okay, so I went and cut and adhered the panel to the 5x7 card. And now let's figure out how we're going to do this typewriter. I did cut out of the stitch dies the largest circle that was included. Not quite sure yet what I'm going to do with it. I felt like the typewriter needed to be grounded. So let me think about that. In the meantime, let's have fun with the stickers. I did want to adorn this up a little bit, just like the idea card, how I said before, but I wanted to use the word hello. Okay, that's really sweet. I like that. Okay, now let's do some of the stars that also comes with the kit. And we'll just scatter a few of them around. Put one here in the corner. Little tiny one over here. One here. Okay, I might mount this on some foam, so maybe by popping it up it'll make it look a little bit not so flat. Okay, so let me mount the circle on here. And I popped up the typewriter on some foam. So there, it doesn't look so flat. And I'm going to use the Happy Birthday Puffy sticker that comes with the kit. I'm going to put it down here. I think that'll look cute. Down on the bottom. Right there. I always need birthday cards. I got glue on my thing, my puffy sticker. Okay, so this is all great and dandy, except that when I was laying it out before, I didn't care for the empty space up here. This is the deal with 5x7 cards. I think this is why I don't like them. I always feel like I need to fill them up. But I found these old buttons, and sorry, I know this isn't part of the kit, but believe it or not, these are old buttons from the Stamps of Life previous kits, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they'll look really cute up there on top. So let me get some glue dots and adhere them. No, these are too little. These are the right size. Okay. So let me come on. And there. Okay, I feel better now that it's... All right, so that's the last and final card. Hopefully this was helpful. Another way to use your, if you have the 5x7 gatefold card. Hopefully this will give you some ideas for the extra dies that come in the kit. And this is it for the January card kit for this month. And I thank you again for sticking to the end, and hopefully there was something that was helpful. Have a great day, everyone. Real quick, I found a little piece of black ribbon left over, so I just tied a knot and stuck it there on the corner of the typewriter. I think just adds a lot to the card. So I just wanted to come back and just share that. That was an afterthought. Thank you again, everyone.